Now, sir, I wanted to ask you now, we're kind of segue on the Knights of Rizal. What do you know about, aside from the NRYLI uh, portion of your life in the 1990s, late 1990s? Now, after 25 years, how do you, what do you know about the Knights of Rizal? How do you see the Knights of Rizal as an organization?
You know what? I'm surprised by the Knights of Rizal. Really surprised because for instance, it's chartered under a Republic Act 646. It was not all organizations have that privilege of being chartered by the Republic of the Philippines. And another is I was surprised by the Order of the Knights of Rizal's global reach. It's everywhere. I mean, almost almost many major countries in the world has a Knights of Rizal chapter. And another is the membership is really well-meaning individuals, some of whom have really something to say in the community, some of whom are influential really. I mean, I was surprised also of Rizal himself because 100 years after his death, people would happily carry his the I mean would willingly, you know, and happily um, continue to spread his goodness, his message. I mean, the life of Rizal himself has its own life, even 100 years after his death. And that is because of organizations like the Knights of Rizal primarily. So I get surprised when I see Facebook posts of highly influential people who are member of the Knights. I mean, it's pleasing to the heart that to see people really wholeheartedly dedicating themselves to spreading the Knights, life, works, and writings and message of Dr. Jose Rizal. I mean, for as long as I believe that for as long as corruption is still here, poverty is still here, racial discrimination is still here, lack of self-confidence among Filipinos are still here, the life of Rizal will still be relevant.
Now, sir, you did mention that I saw in your posting, Jose Rizal, the first Filipino. Would you mind elaborating on that?
Yeah, because there was a poem, A la Juventud Filipina, to the Filipino youth. He wrote it when he was so young. And I did not memorize right now the poem, but it has a passage like this, a la juventud, bella esperanza en la patria mía. Like it says, the youth, the hope of my fatherland. Patria so father, not motherland, but fatherland. And the word my fatherland to me is highly politicized because it might refer to Mother Spain or Mother Philippines. So if the youth is the hope of the fatherland, who is the fatherland? The fatherland is Spain because we are under Spain when the poem was written, which means that the youth, the Filipino youth, is the hope of Mother Spain or Father Spain. But in subsequent letters of Rizal, when he was already in Europe, he always thought about the Philippines as the fatherland. So when he was around that young, I mean 18, at
16,
UST,
I
he
think.
wrote 16, thank you. As young as 16, he wrote that the Filipinos are the hope of the fatherland. And in subsequent letters, he clarified that fatherland refers to the Philippines. Then he is the first Filipino because he thought of the Philippines as the fatherland, and he was the first to do that.
Now, sir, you are in Bulacan.
Yes, yes.
What is the relevance, if you could educate us briefly, the relevance of Bulacan to Rizal's life?
Yeah. For example, Maximo Viola was from San Miguel, Bulacan. He actually supported Rizal um, to finish one of his novels and to tour around the Europe with him. And also, brother-in-law of Rizal was working in Bulacan as a telegraph operator. The Friends of Rizal is from Bulacan. Marcelo del Pilar is one of them. That's right. They were colleagues. And also, Rizal was impressed by the women of Malolos, the one you're referring to. Um, he wrote a letter to the women of Malolos. And uh, when I went to the provincial capital of Malolos, there were portraits of the women of Malolos there. So it was because Rizal wrote a letter to them, they were immortalized just like Rizal was immortalized. And Bulacan was so proud of these women. I mean, they're trailblazers. The way Rizal is proud of these women, that's why he was moved to write a letter to them.
If somebody from another country, not the Philippines, or listening to this broadcast, to this interview, and d- do you endorse any historical landmarks in Bulacan that they have to see as Rizalist or as member of Knights of Rizal?
Yeah, number one, my hometown, Baliwag. It is where Mariano Ponce uh, uh, was born, lived, and became a congressman. Mariano Ponce and Dr. Jose Rizal and Marcelo del Pilar is belongs to the triumvirate, the picture with the three of them. And the triumvirate picture has a monument style, and it can be found in Malolos City. Yung tatlo sila, the three of them in a triumvirate. It has a monument style. Rizal, Mariano Ponce, and
Marcelo H. Del Pilar.
Marcelo del Pilar
In
in
Malolos
front of
City, sir.
in Malolos City, at the side of the Capitol. It is
Okay.
there for those interested to,
Sure.
because that triumvirate was really a big deal in Bulacan. Two of
Ah,
them are Bulaqueños and one is Rizal. In Baliwag, Rizal is also revered because her great-great-grandmother, Maria Florentina, was born and baptized in Baliwag. So every year, the Rizal Day celebration in Baliwag is more meaningful and more intense than many towns around Bulacan because it is written in history that um, Rizal's maternal great-great-grandmother is from Baliwag. And to those who are foreigners abroad, they can come to Baliwag and Malolos.
mm,
And in Malolos, they can visit the museum and Hiyas ng Bulacan, and where the portraits of the women of Malolos were. And they were traced, they were identified, and their families were informed that their grandmother is was praised by Dr. Jose Rizal.
wow.
In Baliwag, we conducted a study between the relationship of Mariano Ponce and Dr. Jose Rizal. And they wrote 43 letters to each other. And we also found out that Mariano Ponce was the dealer of Rizal's books. And he edited many of his essays. Like Por Telefono was edited by Mariano Ponce. So yes,
I'm going to show you a
yes, sir.
picture. And I think if you can tell me what this is.
Oh my God, that's a picture, yeah, of Baliwag. That's the Saint Agustine Church. That is where the great-great-grandmother of Dr. Jose Rizal was baptized. Si Maria Florentina, a Baliwagenyo. That is also where Mariano Ponce go to church. And that is our Rizal Park. It's one of the most beautiful parks during its day. Right now, the stairs are gone.
Oh.
And yes, Rizal was actually being whispered unto his ears by Inang Bayan. Uh-uh.
The statue in the middle, the statue in the middle, does that reflect Jose Rizal?
Yeah, is Jose Rizal and Inang Bayan whispering unto his ears. I don't know what she whispered, but it's something about, oh, go ahead and tell the Filipinos to fight for independence. It's on that context.
So
And
this
then
is go ahead, sir.
and then the ladies at the base,
yes,
are not Rizal sisters, but they are the personification of loyalty, liberty, and love for country. There are two heroes um, uh, at the sides.
Yes,
Local heroes. Yeah.
local hero.
It has a museum too. It has a convent, and according to the priest, it's one of the most beautiful convent in the islands, in the Philippine
Well,
Islands,
definitely
according
worth
to Spanish priests. Yeah.
definitely worth seeing for those who are listening abroad. Now, sir, let me ask you about one place, one issue that the Knights of Rizal is known for. And I want you to interpret what happened as somebody who's not a member of the Knights of Rizal, but also as a historian and as an eye for history. The Terror de Manila, sir. What do you think happened there? What does that represent to you? Of course, you know the Terror de Manila.
The terror, the Torre. Is it the
Torre, yeah.
Torre? The
Yes.
terror?
Yeah, we call it
That's
Terror
why
de Manila, yeah. What does that
yeah,
represent to you when you heard about it and that the Knights of Rizal was involved? How did that come to you?
um, I was so sad by that story. So sad because the Torre was a national photo bomber, so they said. So it destroyed the view. We are so strict with that. Like for example, we did not want the Lapu-Lapu monument there because it's gonna overshadow the Rizal monument. Then it was taken away. But the Torre was not stopped. I was as a lawyer, I'm sad that the Supreme Court gave a go signal for the Torre to be there. It is really an eyesore. Um, and I am happy at the same time that the Knights of Rizal was fighting uh, to the tooth in order that the view of Rizal and the Rizal Park itself will be respected. You see, that is allowed supposedly if we have sufficient laws uh, that would protect our landmarks. For example, in NAIA, you cannot just build tall towers like that near the airport. We can do that also to our landmarks, like the Rizal Park. And I'm happy that the Knights of Rizal fought for it valiantly. And at the same time, I'm sad that that the Knights of Rizal lost a battle on that.
Do you
Uh,
think if Miriam Defensor Santiago was alive, she would raise hell,
mm, mm-mm.
being how feisty she is and how brutally frank she is sometimes.
Yes, yes. Miriam Santiago is a very nationalistic person. She loved this country, come hell or high waters. That is the reason why she's sick. She still ran for presidency. She's not sane anymore during that time, but she does not want to be sorry. I don't want to be in bed feeling sorry about myself. I will run to love this country, to show this country how much I love it. Very much Rizal, really.
Now, sir, at this point, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to spending time with me. And I know you have a busy schedule. I really appreciate it, and I know that the Knights of Rizal all over the world uh, picked up valuable lessons on your thoughts as a alum in KAPARIZ, and also as a historian, and also as a native of, as also as a resident of Bulacan, where Rizal, two of the three of the triumvirate are from Bulacan. At this point, sir, I'd like to invite you to say your last words.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation. And as an alumni of the National Rizal Youth Leadership Institute and the first International Rizal Youth Assembly, um, it actually strengthened in me the love for this country. And I have been studying Rizal since elementary, but it does not have any sense to me studying about a man who died already and memorizing dates of his lives as rote memorization was the style of the day during the time. But when I attended the National Rizal Youth Leadership Institute, organized by the order of the Knights of Rizal, uh, it brought me so much meaning. Uh, it gave me sense of direction. And I, from then on, as an alumni of that leadership institute, I became a leader that is conscious of the welfare of the people around me. I insisted that education is a right, and as a right, it should be free. It should not be paid. That is why I work at Baliwag Polytechnic in College in Baliwag, Bulacan. We fought very hard to be part of the Unifast and that we will be free. Our program offerings and education services is zero charge, free of charge. I insisted on that because I believe that's Rizal wanted. Rizal wanted the youth to be developed, the skills to be honed, and it should be free. It should be accessible to all, not just to the few. That is why Rizal himself built schools in the Pitan. He built curriculum that is really to empower the youth. And his school was free, no charges. And he was the teacher, and he was a passionate and loving teacher. He was not only a teacher, a father as well. And I am that to my students, to my colleagues. Um, the idealism is still here after 25 years. And if ever I see youngsters going astray, I would always remind them na um, hold on to your idealism because the world outside is cruel and corrupt. And it's only your idealism that would keep you um, in the right path. And Rizal will be smiling from his grave.
Oh, that's very nice, sir. Well, again, thank you so much, sir. And I wish you have a good day in the Philippines. And hopefully, we'll see each other there. We'll meet you there when all this pandemic is done. And once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sir Alvin Galera. Thank you.